I would definitely say Flyquest is like Shrimp, Keane, and crew. I think the other players are pretty good at fulfilling their role and letting Shrimp and Keane shine. But definitely they get most of their advantages, I feel, from Shrimp and Keane.
You don't say.
Good observation there, Goldenglue.
Welcome back, League fans. We are heading into Game 2 of our semifinal series after an incredible comeback victory by Flyquest Academy. And I think it might be a little true. Keane and Shrimp are a bit of the backbone there for Flyquest, and Goldenglue's right.
Yeah, absolutely right. And it's not really a shot at the other 2 or 3 players of Flyquest. I don't think it's just the way that they play is very much influenced by Shrimp and Keane. And once again, this game was basically won by those 2 guys. No did a good job finding engages after they have fallen behind. A lot of his stuff was kicked off by Ornalts, but they wouldn't have worked out quite as well if Keane wasn't blowing people up and instantly one-shotting, comboing people. And if Shrimp wasn't finding Keith all the time, the backline isolated. Like, if those things weren't happening, those other engages would not have looked so impactful.
If they didn't lose, they wouldn't have lost.
Yeah.
Exactly. Flyquest Academy going on to Blue's side now to start things off, so we'll see how they can get into the picks and bans in the mind of Cloud9 and what Shrimp can get himself onto, because, damn, he had a great game on Kha'Zix, as you were saying.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy. I'd be interested to see what they do now, because you can ban away that Kha'Zix, but he's not really a super strong power pick in the current meta, and there's enough other things on red side that you expect people to ban, like Xayahs and Skarners or Olafs that we were seeing. So I wonder what they do with Shrimp now, because he absolutely hulked out in game 1. And now that they're on blue side, they might not have that same opportunity. Maybe C9 leaves a bunch of power picks up, because Flyquest did not feel like they were going for those kind of meta picks. They were kind of doing their own thing.
It feels good. Whatever's in the wheelhouse, this is nice. We can play around it. And that's one of the things, too, is that also becomes a moldable strategy for them. They know what windows to play around with those champions. And sometimes you get caught off by the event horizon, which Team Cloud9 played around. So they're going to have to come up with something good. Cloud9 is ready, but they got to close out in that late game.
Oh, Zeyzal just got up.
That's it.
Just start with Adam.
He's going to get ready.
Yeah,
a little more prep on the beard. It's all right. It takes a while. You know, you got to look good.
Oh, yeah, you would know. Beard expert, man. I heard you giving advice earlier today about how to maintain a beard.
I take advice from him. Good Lord. Keith having a pretty decent laning phase on that Caitlyn, protected by the Tom Kench, but they were able to find him later. So got to shake that off. Keith definitely having unlucky moments in that situation when it seems like he could be that one to carry the game and things kind of flip right at the last moment.
And, you know, it's hard to notice exactly who was which of the bot laners out of position, because Keith should be with Zeyzal or Zeyzal should be with Keith. I don't know exactly which one it was, but either way, they kept getting caught out of position. Keith kept dying and did not have a Tom Kench there to negate some of the isolation damage, as well as to pick him up once Shrimp finally shows. So it was tough to play on, because on the one hand, you have Keane threatening your front line because he reached the point where he could blow up basically anybody, and you're Zeyzal, and you're like, oh, I should save this guy, and then you have to worry about Shrimp behind you all the time, and oh, I should save that guy. Maybe that's what was happening, where Zeyzal was just caught between a rock and a hard place.
Seemed like there was a little bit of a lack of initiation. Thought we'd see a little more Skarner impales, but that's on the team itself. You can't just be like, that's on Wiggily. He didn't dive in by himself. It's just kind of the communication needs to ramp up a bit here for C9 as we get into the second game, as Flyquest 1-0 starts off the ban phase. Galio and Kog'Maw.
Some of the same bans thus far. Like you're saying, Wiggily did try and find a couple initiations, but he even found Keane one time, but with how much CC Flyquest had, he couldn't actually pull him anywhere, so he broke out and just instantly blew him up for impaling him. So maybe C9 got a little gun shy after that. Swain hits the ban list, though. They don't want to give that one up again.
No way. Leave that down on the bench. Also, and props to that, as with those last fights, JayJ's Braum getting in the way with those shields. It's not the toughest thing to do, but when you can deny the right front end burst of damage, you get those plays from Keane where you can turn around and say, bam, sit down. Varus, the third one here from Flyquest Academy. And what will C9 decide to say no-go to?
Be curious to see. I mean, Varus wasn't picked or banned, I believe, in the previous game. So a little strange to see him focus down here. Maybe that indicates what Flyquest might be wanting to first pick, with Kog'Maw and Xayah bans already thrown out. Maybe they're going to take that Caitlyn away from Keith as their first pick. Because like we said, it doesn't feel like Flyquest is exactly playing the same meta. C9 ban out the Olaf, trying to limit some of those OPs up. So yes, Flyquest does indeed grab that Caitlyn pick. And now C9 with that Olaf ban, position themselves to get the Skarner again. And we'll have to see if they actually want to follow through on that.
Skarner Ezreal, maybe. They'll lock in here for C9. 13 seconds left. Countdown. I feel pretty comfortable with the picks they had last time. They actually had quite a few S-tier picks, and that's it showed it in the early game. They were really able to kind of power through that and get a good mid-game.
Wow, scared off the Skarner.
Yeah. All right, Wiggily.
Gotta wonder if that was something as a result of last game, if they just felt like the Skarner wasn't doing enough for them, like you said.
Didn't have the initiation.
Didn't have that many initiation, didn't have great early game pressure, did out-farm the Kazakhs a little bit, but didn't really get too far ahead. Maybe they feel like Sejuani is gonna have an easier time dealing with the Kazakhs, or just will have a stronger team fight initiation later on.
You take away that Braum. Just talking about that denial of damage JayJ was able to use. They'll put it in the hands of Zeyzal this time. It's either the Tom or the Braum. Looks like they go for the Braum this time.
Yeah, it works a little better with, oh, I hope that's actually gonna get locked in. It does work a little bit better with the Caitlyn, so that's why you see that takeaway there, making sure that they can't actually get it. And in response to that, looks like Flyquest will go for that counter pick. Morgana does very well into Braum. The Black Shield negates a lot of his power, as well as works with Caitlyn's kind of pushing playstyle.
And there's the Zac. You see tank on one side, Shrimp saying, last game was fun. We'll show my other side of defensive and objective control here. We get a little more support to the lanes for kills in the lanes.
A little bit more lockdown this time on C9's side. Braum is notoriously annoying to play assassins into, so maybe that's why you see that taken away. A little surprising that they have the Morgana, maybe Black Shield the Kazakhs, and he goes in there and doesn't care, but either way, going for a different look this time by Flyquest Academy. And C9, like you said, you expected that Ezreal pick, you called it out just a little bit later, and Keith will get one of his mainstays of the regular season.
That'll be nice for him. Him and Zeyzal can easily go into that lane with the idea of aggression. Feel okay about the pressure they add. A lot of safety in that lane to escape as well. Second phase of bans. Let's see what Cloud9 Academy favors here to get off the map, and they say it's no. Definitely threw a good amount of tank pressure at us on the top. We're going to take away Gnar to start.
A little bit of a strange ban to me. No primarily playing tanks. Gnar good into tanks, so you thought they would have wanted to leave that for Shiro, who has had some good performances on it as well. It's interesting because last game they were very mismatched. They had two positions that were not aligned. This time all three positions are set up the same, so gonna see some very targeted bans most likely. I wouldn't be surprised to see Veigar hit the ban list. I mean, you don't necessarily want to limit mid laners, and you see Flyquest kind of going after tops. Maybe also a tank ban up here would work for C9. There's too many things left in Keane's wheelhouse to want to ban out Cassio or Ryze or anything, I would assume.
Ornn.
Yep.
All right. Deny both of those tanks. And now what is next? Final ban here. Camille was taken out as Shiro actually had a pretty good Camille game on their Week 9 win against Flyquest Academy. So they said, we've seen that recently. Don't want to see it again. Gangplank also goes out to take away a bit of his damage from the top lane.
Yeah, I like that. Surprised to see 4 top lane bans.
Yeah.
But No and Shiro are very mismatched in playstyles compared to Goldenglue and Keane. So I think it makes some sense where you see a lot of carries knocked off from Flyquest and C9 kind of hitting the more stable champions. This does force Shiro, after all those bans, to take a more stable, tanky-focused top laner, so they get Cho'Gath for it.
A lot of beef on this team now. Braum, Sej, Joe. What can you match with? Of course. Just shout at him. And a Ryze all the way down to the bottom of the list. Still a huge pickup for Keane there. As, like you said, there's so many top lane bans coming in and so many other things to go around. We're getting a few more of those high-tier picks we usually see coming out very early. Could be the Corki? Possibly. We kind of see that going to the wayside now. Keane played that against Cloud9 back in Week 4, but it's not going to be this time for Goldenglue in the matchup. It'll be the Azir who's still left up.
I like that a lot more than the Talia they are hovering.
Yeah.
It matters a lot less about matching potential roams from the Ryze, because you need some extra damage to go with that Ezreal. So I like the Corki hover. Do like the Azir a little bit more. They have a huge tank line, huge front line here for C9 Academy with 3 tanks in the top jungle and support position. Flyquest, somewhat similar, a little bit tankier of a mid laner, but 2 very similar team comps, but a lot of focus will be around that bot lane with the pushing style of Flyquest Academies, but they are squishy, prone to ganks. Maybe Braum and Sejuani can find something.
we'll have to see. Can they stay safe on that side of Cloud9 Academy? Safe enough to start off with a good bot lane. Also, will Shrimp and Keane be in each other's back pocket here to start off the game? We'll have to make sure Goldenglue is ready for that pressure he may be receiving. They were actually left alone quite a bit in the early game until lanes got divided up. Then you saw 5v5s mid, but they actually left that featured matchup to its own.
It's strange. Usually when you talk about, wow, Keane and Shrimp carried that game, you think together, but it was very separate action last game. This time around, they have a lot more gank set up, a lot easier to pull off as well, so they might see more targeted play around the mid lane as well. Bot lane going to be a huge focus for both, as the top lane tank meta probably won't result in too much action.
Keep a little bit more room to breathe this game. Shrimp's Kazakh's play, very reminiscent of old Rengar games where he just couldn't move. You had to wait until he used ult. Can't breathe. He is somewhere next to me. We're not going to have that this game, so a little bit more free movement. We'll see if the players can get themselves into some pretty cool strategies to start things off. We are on to the Rift. Flyquest now on to the blue side as C9 takes their hand at red.
Flyquest stealing a game in game one.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about that. And like we were saying, gonna have to see the mental fortitude of C9 Academy here. A lot of these guys, a lot of these guys have some playoff experience. Zeyzal has had his runs in the Challenger series. Goldenglue, Keith, both have been playing in LCS before. They've played in relegation matches, promotion matches. They've been around the ringer a couple times, so they should be used to the pressure in some degree. But some of these guys have kind of had that struggle for a long period of time. Goldenglue is kind of known. You even heard it in the teaser at the beginning. I think one of the players on Flyquest side said Goldenglue's a bit of a choker sometimes, so maybe they think they can get advantage there.
Scrim God.
Scrim God Goldenglue.
Scrim God Goldenglue. That's usually what they call him. Let's see if he can bring that here into the Rift. Shrimp and No. Looks like they're going to hang out in their jungle. Let's see if anybody pushes deep. Quick start, Bloblet pickup, and a run up to the blues.
Go big.
Where's he gonna go?
Well, pretty standard clear. Start Wolves, then you can do that kind of double clear on the Gromp and the blue buff. Sure, we'll see Shrimp go for that. Yep. And Sejuani instead just starting all alone. Oh wait, no, Cho'Gath was helping on the red buff. All right, never mind.
They'll get to the top side at the same time, so no real discrepancy in levels there. Who gets the 2 first? Looks like they're trying to pressure that down fast with their relics that they have. Boom! Clean up that wave. 60. That felt good. Nice clear. Bone plate is on. An interesting image for a bone. Double bone plate.
Yeah, I don't know what bone that is. It's like a triangle with some nubs.
I think if your back had a bigger bone between its shoulders.
It kind of looks like a shoulder blade, I guess, is probably the closest thing.
The clavicle?
No, I've heard the term clavicle, and I know where it is, but I couldn't picture a clavicle. Is that just not a collarbone?
Scapula?
I know what a scapula is. That is your shoulder blade. I have snapping scapula. It's a
that went deep.
Small bone.
Interesting. We'll see if there's any snapping scapulas here. I don't think Shrimp does. He's a blob. No bones here. That makes
a lot of stretching
for the elasticity in his body creation of his Zon form. Nice pickup by Wiggily. Easiest scuttle crab grab for Sejuani in the early part of the game with Permafrost as we figure out where they go from here. Looks like he's just heading back. That's to get a nice bit of HP and save some mana. He goes back and gets blue. That extra bit of gold helps to get the boots on the way out. Shrimp's double buffed up, and he is rolling to Raptors.
Both junglers not super aggressive pre-level 3 or 4. I miss those good old level 2 ganking days, but not going to get anything with these champions.
Oh!
Only minion dematerializers in the game, bot and mid.
All right. This is for you. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking to you. Close. Game 1. You see it, but it's just getting started, everybody. Spam the chat with FLYA or C9A to let us know who you think is going to win Game 2. If you're a C9 fan, still put your faith there. Don't lose faith just yet. That was a good game by Flyquest in the end, but this is going to be a battle of a series. So, YouTube, Twitch, your platform, whatever you want, spam it, FLYA or C9A, and we'll get those votes rolling in just a second.
Oh, yeah. See, basically, if C9 is mental boom or not. Whoa. And apparently, they are going to be just fine. Those percentages don't look quite right.
I like the percentages. It works out. So, Wiggily on to no here. There's a 28% chance it'll kill him, but a 22% chance, if that makes sense, that he won't die. And he's going to live. That's what the percentages mean.
It still summed up to 50%. So for some reason, I'm going to guess that.
I think it was still right. It was just inputting the number on the right without the right difference. Correct. Yeah. Correct, sir.
Anyways, maybe 50% of people in Twitch chat were spamming other crap as well. Who knows? Twitch chat and YouTube chat tend to have a mind of their own.
They got it. Twitch votes. That's how it works. Teleport back into mid lane here.
Twitch plays LCS.
Twitch plays LCS. It could happen. Sometimes that's what the games look like. No, just kidding.
But are you?
7,000 gold on the board. There's a vote. This is what your power does. You control this. 57 to 43. C9 does actually have the lead in that. And it looks like they're going to try to keep that pressure. The C9 fandom still strong after getting shaken in game 1.
I wonder what the metagame is, because I don't know all the chat rules. Like, I know you can't post the same message twice on Riot games,
right. So you can't.
But you can post like every 5 seconds. So you need to like vote C9A, write something else, and then write C9A again. I'm helping Twitch chat figure out how to break the system potentially.
How to better vote.
Yeah. I was doing it yesterday when I was watching the other people play. I was like, oh, I want to spam in chat too.
I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And you can. That's why it's there. I have not gotten to vote yet.
Really?
I'm going to do it
log
actually.
on your phone right now.
Right now.
I'll handle this. You vote.
It's gone. Too late. I see. That's what happens when you wait. Shrimp, not going to wait. Slingshot in. No waiting required. Is there a minion? Ha! Not too far back. Though, only gets about 50 range on it as the binding hits. And Unbreakable goes up as well. Erry's a bit low on mana, but you don't need mana to auto, baby. He keeps himself in lane and in a safe spot.
Not huge advantages anywhere this time with some of the better matchups. Flyquest has a slight CS advantage, but it's not even 100 gold advantage right now. So doing a good job hanging even. You do have that Kleptomancy Ezreal, who I'm sure has generated some gold for himself thus far. And up in the top side, like we said before, where it was a matchup where they wanted to snowball up there and you saw some attention by Flyquest early on. Not the case this time around.
See what our items are. Shrimp, Talisman into actually his Balmy Cinder. A little bit more clear speed as it seems like he's going to stay in the jungle and try to become real big here. One gank to mid and then back and forth. He's saying, I'm adding pressure, but I'm also trying to take down objectives. And here, that extra damage is going to help take down the Infernal Dragon.
This is a nice little knock-on effect from that gank in the mid lane that happened earlier. It'll allow Keane to get a faster back off so he can push that minion wave. Goldenglue has to go mid to collect that right now. And Shrimp, as a result, has free time on this Infernal Dragon. Combined with the fact that they have a winning bot lane so that they can kind of force this whenever. They're going to need to, there you go, finish that one off.
Roll him out.
A little close, but really well set up by Flyquest there. And this is one of the things that we were talking about that they do so well, and what allows them to have their amazing consistency is that they had some of the best objective control in the league. So a really, what seemed like inconsequential gank in the mid lane prior to that actually does go a long way to setting up the first dragon of the game. And once again, a lot of Infernals and Mountains on the way here. You're going to have a pretty aggressive game around those.
Little things that fly under the radar. They take it early, big impact later when they are actually getting those engages. Nicely done. For a second, that looked like it went over to Shiro. I was like, wait a minute.
So we'll have to see if Flyquest can mirror that invade. They kind of gave up the blue buff for the Infernal Dragon there, but because Shrimp started on the top side of his map, the blue buff for C9 will be spawning soon. Might see a contest on it, especially since, like we were saying, the bot lane of Flyquest usually has the priority, so might collapse on that one. We'll be spawning very shortly.
Easy clears in the mid here for Goldenglue. This blue buff is not making Keane happy, but we saw he was down a little bit last game and didn't have too much trouble. Wiggily and the Gromp become friends as Shrimp gets himself into a sneaky situation. Goldenglue now has that force push on the lane. Looks like he is going to be able to get control. So a bit of a double steal here. They say he's going to come back and look for that. Let's make sure he's having some trouble when he does.
Yeah, Shiro both times being able to kind of move down from top lane to that river to potentially support. Keith ulting the wave. I wonder if that's in preparation for the potential blue buff invade that might come in. This would be very heads-up play by C9, knowing that that is the obvious play for Flyquest to go for. You see Shrimp on your map moving into the river, but because they instantly clear that wave out with the Ezreal ult, they're actually able to collapse onto this blue buff and make sure it's alive, and Wiggly's going to be able to control this one. So C9 answering that neutral objective control with really great blue buff control.
A few steps ahead cannot be stopped. C9 does.
These are those little little moments that I love seeing in games when they're not completely bloodthirsty, how teams are kind of thinking about how to use all their tools. I'm Ezreal. I usually can't handle the push of a Morgana Caitlyn lane, but every 60 seconds I can ult a wave potentially and keep up.
And that's the communication you know that's going cross-map, right? The top side of the map, it doesn't matter if Keith and Zeyzal are there when they get the blue of Flyquest, but it says, hey, I have ult. We can stop the pressure if they do go for ours. So, sweet little communication. Get things going here for Cloud9 Academy. Shrimp's still going to be like, figure out what we can do as we're pushing up, but they don't have all the vision they need to really be here.
Yeah, did a little bit of scouting there on Flyquest side with that vision cone, but it missed the ward, so
just
Shrimp kind of showing there. Also the fact that they aren't super chunked out in the bot lane makes this dive kind of difficult. All globals are up, so the TPs could come in from both teams. Feels like a pretty hard force by Flyquest, so they're going to back away there. Not going to bother. And one of the biggest power spikes that usually happens for the Caitlyn against the Ezreal is when you get the tier into pickaxe or BF sword, but they had enough gold from their first farming phase that Ezreal actually came back with a Sheen as well. So that does go decently far to offsetting some of these push advantages Caitlyn usually has, but the turret still is getting whittled down a little bit.
You take it. Nice, he just had Unbreakable go down. They do a nice job of farming under the turret, though, as pressure starts to get created all over the map. We see a little bit there as Keith and Zeyzal were pressured under that turret. Why not take advantage of it from the side of Flyquest in mid? Here again, they get a little bit more damage, possibly. Maybe a few final pushes here before they go back for an item, because Wiggily trying to make himself present. They see that ward is denied over the wall. The flash comes in, a nice shield, so the permafrost doesn't lock right away, but that means JayJ gets a pie to the face, and first blood to Keane.
Nice punish there by C9 Academy. Flyquest weren't really getting greedy to finish that turret.
Yeah.
They weren't overextending or anything like that, but you just see how powerful that Sejuani is when you're decisive. Lands the first bit of CC onto Erry, and JayJ was just a microsecond late on that black shield. Was very close to getting it off in time. You're going to watch this here. The flash Q ult over the wall. Boom. Gets the knockup. Doesn't actually ult right away. Held it, and then uses it there. So even better play than I initially thought by Wiggily. And the black shield came in, so Erry was able to flash away, stopping it from being a double kill. But it was a good redirect onto the Morgana once the black shield was out.
Turret will go down on the bot side here. The pressure they created, C9's like, I want to spend that gold. I want to back. But they do lose pressure. This is where Flyquest can start to kind of ramp up their game. C9 was the first to open up the turrets last game, so we'll see how Flyquest plays this out.
Yeah, Caitlyn pretty good for taking first turret. Gets it bot lane here. That kill by C9 was more stemming the bleeding and get a bit of gold back in their favor. There's no way that they were going to consistently be able to make that play enough to actually take turret first on their side.
Yep.
But you can see that they've gone a pretty long way towards mitigating that gold deficit. They get first turret gold on the side of Flyquest, but C9 get first blood gold, so not much of an advantage.
I think it's weird you can't snuff out the Rift Herald.
What do you mean snuff out?
Get it.
Oh.
Just cancel it out for him.
Yeah, just stomp on the eye or something.
Then they have like 40 seconds to pick it up.
It's insane
how
how
long time
yeah,
to get about that
they should really do something where, like, if you're standing on it, you get halftime. Hold on, TP coming in behind.
Oh, this is big. That ward's been there for a very long time. It's actually what made Flyquest feel safe to pressure up onto that turret. No, just missing as he throws down the train on the tracks, but he does get the knockups. He does get the stops. And they aren't close enough to finish off Zeyzal, but Flyquest show they are not resting.
Yeah, they get the kill. They're going to be able to transition into a Mountain Dragon, but on the flip side, C9 has gone and pushed in the top lane, as well as dropping that Rift Herald they just got, so they'll be able to answer with a turret of their own. Pretty neutral trade, all things considered. And they get a blue buff again, why not? He's got to be mad. He's like, when do I get my first blue buff?
Yeah, especially as Ryze. You're a machine gun. You want to be able to spit out
no ammo.
Spells. 0 ammo. Shooting blanks. I mean, not blanks. It's really small 9mm or something. What do they got here on this TP? Flash forward. Ooh. The straight line jump.
And it was the kind of thing where I think even after that finished channeling, he might have had time to instant flash over the wall before the binding connected. But that hitbox is bigger than you think sometimes.
Yeah.
And I got to admit, that was one of the ones where it looked a little
I always say
surprising that it hit.
I always say the Dark Binding has those hands that you would see in the early Zelda dungeons that take you back to the beginning.
Yeah.
It's just like, that one hit me, and it grabs you, and you're done. You're like, oh, I'm done. It is there. You just can't see it for years. Blue buff, a second one. This has to feel good.
I mean, Goldenglue's got to be ecstatic.
Goldenglue is loving this right now, especially for an Azir. You can just keep spitting out the soldiers. He hasn't really had too much pressure in his lane, but now that we're starting to see turrets go down, he might start to get that love here from Flyquest.
This is actually a, funnily enough, matchup I have seen because people started playing Sion in the mid lane versus things. And it does well into Azir because, especially once you get that banner creep, he can't stop it very easily. And then your shouts, because he is relatively squishy, the Azir, so the shout minion actually does a fair amount of damage to him.
I think they should add a laugh to Sion, much like a Draven or a Singed, because when you do that, you just abandon the lane. Ooh, it looks like they're going to get a teleport top lane. Shiro's coming in hot as we head up. It is going to be very, very low for Keith and Zeyzal. The double deletion coming in. His nose starts to feel very good in the Sion. Possibly looking for a triple kill here as they turn it around, though, from the side of Cloud9. The hits start coming in. Under the turret, though, Flyquest seems to still be staying healthy enough to keep the fight going. No in. Now it's Keane back out, trying to deny the turret damage, but he flashes under after he feels like he's denied that aggro.
Get him back.
Do not leave it.
Double ace.
Quite a hell of a hit. A double ace, but no, Wiggily stays alive as everybody gets a breather. What a fight.
Crazy, crazy fight by Flyquest. They had a great start to it. Shrimp comes over the wall, the double knockup, ulting people back, but they don't quite finish them that fast. The teleports are able to complete in time, and they were starting to get low. Erry is taking some damage. Shiro looks like he's in a lot of trouble here, but a great engage by Wiggily. Starts chunking out the backline members, and then the Azir push into the turret was great. Keane also shows up in time, but there's some split focus. Misses that Q on the Goldenglue, so it takes a little bit of time before he gets the next one off. He lives long enough, and the turret redirected after no. Bit of a strange flash there by Keane. But they're able to finish them off. 5 for 4 on the side of C9 Academy. Woo! And starts putting them in the gold lead, actually, as they were able to take some turrets, too.
Spicy fight. That was all over the place. We'll see where they can go coming out of that one. Bot lane here for Keith and Zeyzal. Looks like they'll try to get as much damage on the turret as possible while deterring No from being there. He actually got pretty big at that 2-1-2. Banner finish for him, as we were saying. Top turret goes down, not instantly traded on the bot, so a little bit of positional movement here for Flyquest.
Absolutely. C9 now up 400 gold, and still some ganks happen in the mid lane.
Oh, abducted goes the Azir. Can he shuffle himself out? He cannot. Wiggly and Bristle forced to watch as he goes down.
Goldenglue getting picked on a little bit here. We were talking about maybe seeing some more mid lane focus this time around. He got a lot of the blue buffs with Wiggly, but Shrimp saying, don't worry, Keane, I got your back.
It's not even a choke this time. They're putting the muzzle on him. They're really not letting him out of that lane.
Nope. Had a good play up on the top side to get himself to his 2-item power spike. Pretty online at this point, but the Flyquest pushing machine keeps working. They get the mid lane turret now up to about 1,000 gold, and they're going to keep going with this banner minion.
Holy deja vu, but mirrored. Cloud9 was doing the same thing last game, but this is Flyquest pushing mid now, and C9 wants to bite back. Hits up beautifully onto No. He gets locked down by concussive blows, and he gets taken down. They got to be careful to passive, though. It can disrupt the fight. Look at the damage onto Shiro as he says, wait a minute. We need to rethink this one. They only get one.
I'm a little surprised to see Flyquest actually back off that fight. No was coming back in his passive, so it was still going to be basically a 5v4. Goldenglue had just respawned, was not going to be in the fight right away. They finished off the turret, so that could have been a 5v4, essentially.
That's a lot of extra damage. They're focusing one guy.
Yeah, you saw Shiro get dropped down pretty quickly with just the Caitlyn and dead Sion beating on him. And so you think if you had some extra damage there from the Ryze. Either way, I can respect Flyquest not wanting to get overly greedy. You got the turret. You're going to lose one. That's fine. They used a lot of cooldowns to find that kill. So break off, set back up, get your waves in position. I can respect the safer play, which is kind of what Flyquest is known for. It's more their MO.
Absolutely. That's what I was about to say. And if they lose, it could have turned into a Baron. But we're only 18 minutes in. There is no Baron. They're just doing it.
Some fast games, Rube.
Safe. Here it is again. Right in from the side, but a good stun on stun there.
Yeah, but they never got any damage follow-up, so Keane's actually able to kite out of that just fine. But then they're playing this so defensively. You could be fighting that 5v4. No comes back up. Look how much damage they do to Shiro. If you had a a Ryze comboing him as well. I think they could have played that a little bit more aggressively.
Maybe they didn't like the fact that they went Wolves and down mid.
They definitely got
split.
Yeah, they definitely got split up a little bit, and I think the call was kind of like we got the turret back off. And like I said, I can totally understand that. You're doing a good job with this Caitlyn pushing style right now to have 4 turrets before 20 minutes. They might want to keep going for that, as well as the fact that Cloud Dragon's back up and keep playing that objective game.
You know, sometimes that's the play you pray for. You're like, no, we don't need any more. Everybody's like, yeah, you're right, we don't need to dive. And then you all dive when you get there. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot harder to throw a game not taking 5v4s.
Whoop. Ace Noel coming in. Zeyzal says, I am the front line. Oh! Arctic Assault into the Elastic Slingshot, but they're on to Keith in the back line. All the tanks went in, and the damage went to the back line for Flyquest. But have they now put themselves in a spot that can't be defended? Wiggily starting to close down now on No. Gets himself into the passive form, and Flyquest heads out. Drake being flicked up by Flyquest Academy, 3 to their name.
I'm really surprised. Flyquest actually lost that fight. Keane had a bit of an overextension on his flank, but the fact that he was still able to kill Keith early on with No coming in to help him, I thought for sure Flyquest were going to win that. Doesn't end up being the case, and now C9 Academy with the kills onto the top and mid are actually going to look at this Baron buff again at 23 minutes.
Time as last game. What a turnaround already. They're safe at mid, but they're forced into a fight that didn't work out at Dragon. Just a few seconds later, a little bit of love from a combined 1,000 HP there in the first 2 members. They're trying to hide there for Erry. And it looks like they're only going to have to clear vision on the way out. Wait, Party Portal comes through right on top of Cloud9 Academy. Keith has all the time in the world to fire for the back line and starts finding the damage. What a mishap by Flyquest Academy, and Cloud9 bite down hard.
They did not have their tank joining them there. No was not in the Realm Warp. I think he canceled his TP even. Either way, that does not work out for them. Flyquest Academy saw that they were all low after that Baron, wanted to punish them, but just don't find any priority targets.
Here's the Dragon first.
Here's the Dragon first. Keane is a little over-isolated on the backside, but he's getting good damage down. The fact that he kills Keith here makes me think he's going to be able to get them. Zeyzal doesn't die, and no one's focusing Goldenglue, who's just chunking out No, as well as the fact that Erry has not really been able to get any damage down, so he has been relatively ineffective that entire fight. So No's corpse tries to do something about it, not able to do so. They finish this Baron off, and it looked like this might work out, but they're also very, very low. So it's 2 low teams kind of ending up on top of each other, and the Ryze Realm Warp rarely gives you an advantage.
That would have been such a better slingshot with Party Portal on it. Instead, Zach is there standing.
Right, that's the thing about the Ryze ult, is it's kind of like a giant telegraph of like, throw your CC here. And if the team times it correctly, it pretty much always favors the team getting Realm Warped on top of. And there you saw, despite the quick first kill that they found, Flyquest got blown up. Now they're down a lot of gold, 3,000 against a Baron buffed opponent who only has 2 turrets, so there's a lot of gold on the map for them to claim.
The brute forcing of the turrets now as well. Obviously they see Keane bot lane, so they can abuse the mid lane defense a little bit, but still, with regards to Flyquest power, C9 still feeling very good, and they're going to put themselves in a bit of a dangerous spot to take these. Okay to do so, they move on to the second tier in mid.
Really happy to see this aggression keep up on C9 Academy side. It's very easy, like we said, based off game 1 to get tilted and have a hard time closing out game 2. Here's the engage, though.
Oh, Arctic Assault to the face again of Shrimp. These initiations just being shut down. No, now getting backed out. Zeyzal's the focus with the turret on him as they think they can lock down the kill, but those would have been better. Onto the tanks. They finally start to focus Shiro, but everybody's limping away, and now they get themselves into a bad position. Flyquest Academy has dipped, duck, dived, and dodged themselves to a fight win here. Past the sun disting mid lane, and now they're going to have control of the map again. We said C9 had all those turrets to pick up, but they only get 1 in mid.
No other way to collapse there for Flyquest after they found the 2 kills on the backline members of C9. They wanted a little bit more, couldn't find it. Shrimp did a good job starting that fight off. Wiggily did interrupt the jump to get the knockback, but he still got the kidnap, which kind of forced C9 into an awkward team fight.
These become such a dance of fights. Even under their turret, C9 kind of using that relentless aggression, and Flyquest still saying, this is containable.
Right, so you see Shrimp go in, a good interrupt by Wiggily, but he still, like we said, gets that kidnap on the Wiggily. And now the battle lines are breaking down. Keane's off on the right side, pressuring Keith and stopping him from getting in the fight. Shiro's in the front side, he starts getting chunked out. And now Zeyzal and Shiro are very, very low. Keith shifts in, which kind of ruins the positioning for his team. And then it looked like a couple of random CCs hit Goldenglue, who tried to cleanse out, but then got followed up on instantly, so they finish him off. Slight mispositionings by the backline of C9 really cost him there because the tank frontline was holding up just fine.
All this aggression kind of following up on fights. Definitely like to see that. Nobody's really leaving each other out to dry, which is giving us these kind of perfect chaos of fights. Abducted over the wall. He says, I'm okay with this. And they all walk out in the party. Exactly.
It was one of those things where it's like, I see people use this all the time to escape. And it's like, yeah, but not when 3 people are standing on them.
Keane was like, I don't want that.
He was pretty much dead to rights there. Even a flash probably wouldn't have saved him, so while he had it up, no point wasting it. Good pick off by C9, good punish. They're going to keep pushing now. But we've seen Flyquest in this position before, falling behind in gold, but still holding on to team fights pretty well, and that seems to be how things are going.
Oh, a little bit of pressure.
Whoa, Keane, nice fancy footwork.
Wiggily getting himself a little bit of turret damage. The rest of the cavalry has arrived. Glacial Fisher to the back line now. No's got himself on the front line. Beautiful job at being that meat wall, denying a bit of the damage. He can now take a bit more, and Flyquest again get another kill for themselves. Party Portal's a little low here, and it looks like they're going to have to get themselves an Uber if they want to get back into this one.
No ult for No to get that long collapse in. Feels like there's somewhat of a disconnect between the front line and back line of C9 Academy. Because you see these fights drag on for so long, you think an Azir would be able to chew through people, but Goldenglue had no mana there, was not able to get down all the soldiers that he needed to get that bonus attack speed. So it feels like every time there's these 5-on-5s, Caitlyn is out DPSing the backline with the Ryze, of course, out DPSing the backline of Cloud9 Academy.
They're getting kind of jumped on as well, which doesn't give you the time to set up soldiers like a dragon fight would. Goldenglue is kind of instantly in these situations where he's got to be throwing his soldiers around. Almost a hit there. Permafrost not going to lock down. Shrimp's easy. Getting out of the back of the pit there. Didn't know what I wanted to say, but I found it. The 4 Drakes out of Flyquest Academy. This becomes the game where you are forced into that Elder Drake, and we still have a Mountain Drake to go.
This is the incredible objective control of Flyquest that we're kind of talking about at the top of the day.
The not Cossack Shrimp.
Yeah, you see a 3-3-3 top laner, 4-3-3 mid, 2-2-7 AD carry, and no one seems to be standing out. They're even down gold, but they have you know, an unrecoverable advantage right now in that double Infernal Dragon. The next one is a Mountain, which will spawn at 32-ish minutes, and then there won't be time for another Dragon to spawn because it will be Elder up next. So there's no chance for C9 to find their own Infernals.
No.
Uh-oh, Shrimp.
Probably over that 3,000 cap for himself, a little Heart of Warmog, so he's going to be tanky. After these fights happen, he'll heal right up. Get out of there. Didn't really leave too much vision behind. We have to be careful about what is cleared here by Cloud9 Academy. This leaves Shiro in a good spot to start a fight for themselves. And looks like they are going to be very patient.
Very dark on the side of Flyquest Academy. No vision on the Baron. Not up for another 15 seconds, so they can play it slow for now, but it's very difficult to eventually walk up there. We've seen that C9 has no problem bursting down a tank, especially with that Cho'Gath, who can take a big chomp out of any of the frontliners. Uh-oh, Keane's caught.
Keane gets in the front line, flashes back, though. That leaves No on the front, and a quick hit in from Shrimp. Who can they get? The right targets, beautifully dropping Cloud9's HP bar. Zeyzal is down along with Wiggily as they now are able to turn onto the tank. They drop Shiro immediately. Goldenglue only a few more shots, and he shifts himself to safely. The burn is on, but he stays alive with a sliver of health as he limps away, giving Keith a possible exit here, and the heal coming in as they thought they might have to turn for a moment. Baron in the eyes of Flyquest Academy.
3-0, very close fight on their side. The fact that Keane did not get chain CC and was able to flash out was instrumental for them in that. Shrimp.
Womp,
Shrimp.
womp, womp.
Shrimp.
Womp, womp,
Shrimp.
womp.
Shrimp.
That'll happen.
Shrimp.
All right. He was having too good of a game.
We're gonna win, guys. Oh. Oh, God. Anyways, talk about this fight. Great fight by Shrimp here. The fact that Keane is able to flash out in time, Shrimp gets a huge knockup, and the 3-man capture of the front line allows them to focus them down for the back line. Erry and Keane pumping out the damage here. No's also barely able to disengage. They get a slow, they finish off the tank, and then they almost get the last damage in. You saw the flash follows, just not quite enough damage on Goldenglue. That shield keeping him alive through the red buff burn, and then not quite landing the CC on Keith needed to finish him off. But hey, the team fight's still won. You can move to that Baron and get it on all 5 members. 4 members.
4 members. Yes. That's the plan. That was the plan all along.
Hey, I would much rather have my jungler team fight like that. Well, I don't know if I want to say this, but I'd much rather have my jungler winning me team fights than dying at Baron for no reason.
It's true. That's true. What if he did both?
Well, Shrimp just did.
Exactly.
I will take
everything.
I will take a 3-for-0 team fight to have my jungler randomly not have Baron.
Well, your wish is their command. Flyquest now moving down mid. Mountain Drake is next. 2 Infernals, a Cloud, and 2 Mountains. I mean, what a beautiful smorgasbord of dragons that Flyquest has gotten themselves. Sho and the rest of the team, or Shiro I should say, and Wiggily putting themselves up front. That Glacial Prison is ready, but now they have to consider, we see Keane at that top side, and that's exactly when Flyquest pulls away, doing a nice job to yo-yo the aggression and not getting engaged on. 3 turrets for everybody.
Yep, this is one of the things about the Ryze pick. When he starts getting rolling, there's almost no one who can match him in the 1v1, so
it hurts.
Flyquest going for that 4-1 split. They can move between their tank top laner and that tanky split pushing Ryze and start getting damage down these turrets. Already dropping the bot one down to about 20% HP, and that banner minion taking chunks out of that bot lane turret. Erry also, whoa, buddy.
Now, as of game 1, Flyquest have definitive knowledge of what not to do inside the base here. As we enter 30 minutes in, they're looking at the inhibitors. They have way less of a split push than Cloud9 had last time, so definitely an area where C9 can bite back here, can find an engagement with that Glacial Prison over the wall, but it has been used, so they have to wait for something else.
It's going to be really hard for them to find an angle now. Their only other engage is really that Rupture out of nowhere, but as long as Erry has the black shield on him, it's very hard for them to go.
There's an Arctic Assault to stop the knock-up on the Elastic Slingshot, but still JJ's able to help take down Zeyzal as he tries to flash out. Eyes are now on the inhibitors as they're being opened up. Flyquest using game 1 momentum thoroughly here to continue pummeling C9.
Yeah, bloody game, 30 kills in 31 minutes. That last kill resulting in the bot inhibitor dropping for the side of Flyquest Academy. The most important one to get with that Baron buff. Only 30 seconds left on it, so mission accomplished in that sense. It will allow them to have great objective control over that Baron buff when it respawns. You can put Keane down there, have him swap to TP because they found this fight.
Nice blockage to start, but Flyquest wants these fights.
Yeah, they're far enough ahead now that they can kind of just hit the front line, despite the fact that C9 Academy probably have superior front line. The back line of that Caitlyn at 4 items actually right now, working on her 5th already, just 31 minutes in. The Ryze working on the 6th item. Very, very strong backline.
Just noticing that as well. You also have the Triforce build for Keith, either or. You go for that or the Iceborne, but no real peel there if he's going to be getting chased down by a no or by Shrimp. When they are taking their 5th dragon of the game. Elder is next, and it'll be forced into by Cloud9 Academy.
Yeah, and like we said before, that double Infernal as well, helping the side of Flyquest burn down those enemy tanks. And now they have, like you said, the double Mountain to burn down the enemy's objectives.
I'll just take another BF sword here. Looks like he's going for a bit of defense inside of Erry. Make himself a GA. Ardent Sensor from JayJ to make him even stronger. And really just overall kind of going back to how a lot of people thought this would play out. You see where the fan vote's coming from, and that doesn't mean who's going to win. The expected win of this was definitely Cloud9 Academy throughout the season and throughout a lot of just coming into the semifinals.
I would have expected C9 to be the favorites coming in here as well. Flyquest had control of first for, I think, the longest of any of the teams, but it felt, like I said, due to their consistency. They weren't dropping games to really anyone that they should lose to, and then they were going relatively even against some of the other scrappier playoff teams. So it was a bit of a shock that they fell this far down, some of those tiebreakers not working out in their favor. But TLA already got upset. C9 right now feeling like they're kind of in the same boat thus far.
Yeah, very, very solid. Nothing special, but the creation of something special. That's what you're looking for, especially towards the end of the split when it can get hard, it can go strenuous. You want to wind down, but everything needs to wind up very fast. And you need to get on that top caliber play right away. Nice binding to start things off. Who can get top caliber hits on their abilities this time? Looks like Shiro wants in for a little bit of rupture, but he's going to get himself Outrighteous Glory. Not getting him close enough.
nope, you can see how difficult it is for Cho'Gath to be the primary initiator. Runs at them, shoots a rupture, everyone walks out of the way, and he says, all right, fine.
Here I come.
Really going to need Wiggily to find an angle, but it's so hard to do against that Morgana.
Shrimp just off to the left, waiting for that slingshot over to deter any damage to his back line as they keep using Keane nicely on the side. Slowly splitting them thin and really making them choose where they're going to put the damage. Cover for Erry, knows on the left side is a tank. They're just body blocking right now. I got you, Mr. President. Well, will they be able to save him here? It's going to be a mission. No, now locked up very nicely with concussive blows. Wiggily gets himself to a safe spot on the back line. Shrimp's now on the front, and they are able to just cycle each other in and out to where another fight is absolutely possible.
And you see the power of the redemption, an item that we don't see all the time anymore, but able to top No off a little bit there while his chains CC'd up, keep him alive and healthy. And Goldenglue got to that fight a little late, could not get his Azir turret up while the main part of that fight was occurring. So once again, both front lines kind of meet. Wiggily, I think, chose a good time to try and find the angle, but just ended up getting body blocked by No, who was basically always standing on top of the Caitlyn to stop any of that CC from coming in, as well as the fact that they had the comfort of the Morgana shield.
And nicely played, nicely done, and another Baron coming up now for Flyquest. I think Shrimp's going to be alive for this one. Plus that, it's only getting better. It's only getting better. Look at the learning process. It is occurring right now. 36 minutes into this. Well, 35 and a half, if you want to be honest. We like to. So many Drakes, another Baron, and only Elder on the horizon as we see this again.
So the Black Shield wears off, which is why Wiggily wants to go, but there, perfect timing by No to walk up and take that body block. Keeps him alive. There's that redemption to keep him healthy. He ends up taking a lot of damage. Shrimp trading off the frontlining duties with No, and they're able to finish off Shiro first. So very good attempt by Wiggily. Went at the right time, but No doing a good job stepping up. And that's one of the funny things about being a tank player is, like, you don't look at that play and have any way to statistically represent how No just saved his AD carry right there.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that's very hard to appreciate, and one of the reasons I think on the side of Flyquest, because they play such a team-centric style, it is hard to appreciate them as individuals.
It only becomes that eye test. You got to see it when it happens. It's the things you can't talk about. No, again, just taking everything in the beginning, and he says, I'm in there. Shrimp wants to pull the fight to himself. A 5v1 as he goes Bloblitz, and that means their turnaround. No sets up the tracks and drives down it. They get a root on Zeyzal, but he is tanky with Unbreakable up. Whoa! Keane to the back line, immediately getting deleted on the party portal, but it's Erry finding his shots, continuously reeling in the damage as the kite comes out from No. How is he still alive? And Flyquest Academy dance around Cloud9 Academy.
Bit of a crazy play there by Keane, but it did its job in the end. It baited C9 Academy into taking the rest of that fight. Erry was unfocused during the entire thing. He was pumping out the damage, able to find the final kills, ace C9 Academy, and take game number 2.
A dominant playthrough so far in game 1 and 2 in a very unexpected series already. Flyquest Academy riding high on game point versus Cloud9 Academy.
The man on your screen there, Shrimp, being a huge factor in both games. The assassinations on the Kazakhs in game 1. This time, a lot more team-oriented, finding the engages, doing such a good job flanking and making sure he's coming from weird angles so it's hard for Wiggily to interrupt. C9 picked that fight off, but Shrimp just came over the wall from the back line and completely runs distraction, making him the new target of the fight.
Just ignition of a fire underneath Flyquest, not stopping. I think both games we've seen be relentless, which is turning into pretty chaotic fights, which look very messy a lot of the time, but seem to now be favoring Flyquest in the quarrel.
Yeah, like we said, 15 to 15 at 31 minutes, 30 kills in that game. There's a lot of fighting to go on to make that happen. A little bit slower pre-6, but once the turrets started dropping, these two teams are both very, very aggressive.
So let's take a look at the picks and bans here. Coming out, we got the Swain out. We figured everything would still be tank kind of bans, but a lot of top lane bans left some things up here for Flyquest in the last part of the phase.
Yeah, I do like their adaptation from the previous series. I think they understood that they should not fall 10K behind. One of the key things that they did was they banned out the Ezreal instead of the Caitlyn. Caitlyn looks pretty strong. Let's first pick that instead.
Right.
And then, surprisingly, C9 shying away from the Skarner, not taken by either team there. It's not something that we've seen too much from Shrimp. He obviously has a bit of an affinity towards that Zac pick and goes for it again here.
crazy. The Black Shield initiation going in. Not much you can do about that. A very action-packed matchup here. Replay 15 minutes in as Cloud9 5 for 4 in the top lane. And this is what we are a lot of seeing is all-out fights very early.
Yeah, and so it looked like this was kind of doomed for C9. Both their bot laner die instantly. Shiro's left alone under this turret 4v1. But Wiggly's able to get in this fight a little bit faster, as well as Goldenglue getting a very impactful shuffle back onto the turret, able to force this fight a little bit longer. And now it's a 2v2 with the turret to help them out. So while Goldenglue does eventually drop to Keane's damage, the turret pelting away there. Also make sure they trade that back, and the No is left alone. Wiggly gets that one. Like you said, action-packed.
He's just so happy. He's like, I'm the last one standing. This is how it should be. But the game did not go like that. From there, C9 did manage to pull ahead. We have another replay in their favorite 21 minutes. A 4-0 top lane on a Flyquest mishap. But they kept doing this. This did not deter Flyquest from getting initiation.
No, Flyquest hasn't seen a fight that they don't think looks good. So they take this one again. They port themselves right on top of C9 Academy, who can see that coming in and, of course, layer their CC appropriately.
Easy. And you think, wow, Flyquest cannot continue to do those initiations, but they do. 28 minutes in, they say, let's do it again. Bring it back to the Baron Pit. Salty run back, and they do it.
And critically, Keane flashes out there to stay alive. Shrimp, like we said, coming in from these weird angles, having good kidnaps on the front line, able to allow his backline to focus those members down first. They get them low, and then it's only Goldenglue and Keith who are having a hard time walking up. They have to end up flashing away, almost die there, but that did win the fight hard enough for them to then move to Baron and take that for Flyquest.
And what we saw all game, the blue being stolen for Cloud9 Academy. They kept taking it away from Keane. He wasn't able to do much on Ryze until things kind of exploded. The turrets went down, 4 Drakes over to Flyquest, and then we've pushed forward 37 minutes in. They find their ace, and they're able to close out the game after so much work.
And once again, Shrimp just plays this very well. Even though it didn't have an influence on the team fight, he smites off the spell shield so that he can try and get the kidnap. Didn't actually end up working. And then Keane goes for what looks like a suicidal, and honestly it is a suicidal realm warp, but it allowed Erry to kind of charge into that fight. You see he runs right through the front line of C9 Academy, who are so distracted by Keane's realm warp that they're actually able to allow Erry to get onto the back line. He kills both Keith and Goldenglue, and then it's only the tanks left. And you see the metric unbelievable amount of damage there for the side of Erry, kind of the unsung hero of this game. You know, we didn't talk much about him compared to Keith and Shrimp, but it's not always just those two guys, Goldenglue. Sometimes other people are stepping up on the team.
Well, there's so much movements in these long fights. You kind of talked about the art or the redemption coming in, which makes them even last longer. So you have so many things to look at, and sometimes AD carries fly under the radar in that situation when you have so much damage bouncing around. But we see Flyquest Academy now coming out incredibly strong to start things off in a series where they probably also felt like they were a bit of the underdog coming in, and were smiling in 3 instances when their Nexus almost fell in game 1.
Yeah, you saw that they were kind of laughing about that situation. In some ways, that probably goes a long way to taking the pressure off you, that you are in such a ridiculous situation, and then you win that game too. It probably goes so far into improving your mentality for the rest of the series. And I think it showed here that they are very resilient. They lost the Baron again at 20 minutes. That's an unbelievably early Baron to lose it, but they keep picking fights. They don't care if the enemy team has Baron. They don't care if it looks like a losing situation. They believe that they can outplay the enemy team.
Right, and usually in this kind of situation, if you're Cloud9, you're thinking, hey, we almost won that first game. It'll kind of resort to the same thing early, but Cloud9 was turned on their head this early game. They did not. Were the ones to get the early lead. Yeah, we saw Goldenglue back and forth, but Flyquest carried that momentum, and I think that puts Cloud9 even harder and tougher mental spot.
Yeah, it's really strange because Flyquest are fine playing a very slow playstyle. You see their great objective control, getting all the dragons in this game, and so then you say, all right, well, let's play faster against them, but they're great at team fighting too. So what is the style that C9 can find here to get them an advantage? I liked what happened more in game 1 where they went for an early snowball style, but it's very scary because Flyquest feel like they can play from behind just fine.
So does Cloud9 kind of look at this and say, all right, we're kind of banning out top, they're banning out top. Do we actually just drain Keane's champion pool, or is that too big? Do they focus Shrimp, or how do they, or maybe they don't play their own game and say, let them just play whatever?
Well, I don't think the tank focus on the top side is really where you want to go, because you are playing the game that Flyquest wants to. I mean, if Shiro is on Cho'Gath and No is on Sion or whatever it is, like, that's exactly what you want. 2 tanks on the top side, let's focus on other parts of the map. I think, you know, maybe a little less focus up there and trying to find a matchup where Shiro can get some pressure early on could help, because you're not guaranteed to get pressure in the bot or mid lane.
All right, so C9 choosing blue side to start things off. What do we want to see in their hands first? What kind of, actually, as well as a few bans. I'm not going to make you do the whole list like you do with that, but what do you have for that kind of, what's a priority that would really help them and on that ban list?
Well, we talked about how priorities can change very quickly in a series, and I think Caitlyn has really shot up there. The first game, it was a huge reason for why C9 grabbed a big lead early on. This time, it was, once again, the focal point of the action in the game. Grabbing turrets, it took a little bit of time to get the bot lane one, but once they cracked that, they moved top and mid very rapidly, and at some point had 4-2 before 20 minutes in turrets for Flyquest. So Caitlyn is the primary reason for that.
Excel the map, see if they can get it going first and keep it in their lead. That's Cloud9 Academy we're talking about. We're headed for a break as Flyquest Academy heads towards that match point. Stick around and see if they can close out with a 3-0 sweep or if Cloud9 can extend this series. See that ward is denied over the wall. The flash comes in, a nice shield so the permafrost doesn't lock right away, but that means JayJ gets a pie to the face.
You guys can go Seju, you guys can go Seju. Finish show. Zero.
I'm dead. I pace you.
Zero. Ryze. Stay on Ryze. Oh, he's dead.
You can finish.
You can kill him all.
Holy shit, what the fuck?
Sejuani's a monster.
Party portal comes through right on top of Cloud9 Academy. Keith has all the time in the world to fire for the back line and starts finding the damage. What a mishap. Who can they get? The right target beautifully dropping Cloud9's HP bar. Zeyzal is down along with Wiggily as they now are able to turn onto the tank. Whoa! Keane to the back line, immediately getting deleted on the party portal, but it's Erry finding his shots.